washing everything down and vacuuming. There were 6 boys in my family, and we were all just getting ready to do all this work. And I thought Labor Day we're just supposed to go out and work, because that's what I thought. And I go, what a strange thing to say. We're setting aside this day where, we just do more work? And I just thought that's what it was, but that's, of course, not what it is. It's about honoring and celebrating the workers in our great country. And 2 times this week, I've had this conversation, and we know one of them is Dave Hodge, who does the World Relief, and he does the neighborhood teams. I think you guys know him. I'm going to have him come in and speak. The other one is Lee Bazat. Him and his wife Wendy do the Royal Family Kids Camp. Different times we've talked, and both conversations were sort of like talking about everything seems to sort of be divided in the pre-COVID church and the post-COVID church, and it kind of does. There's sort of like this, everything has changed. And it was a really encouraging conversation, really for all of us, because I'm just talking about, it was really hard. All that season was really hard, but I love the church that we became through it. How we emerged from that is a church that really just I have fun with, I look forward to. There were times probably we all felt like, oh man, I don't really, all right, I'm gonna keep grinding it out. But it turned into something very special to me. And a large part of it is because people all just kind of jumped in. Everybody did. I mean, almost everybody. 90-something% of the people that fellowship here do some kind of service, do some kind of participate in something. And so we just decided we're going to take a little bit of time and just see if we could get some people to maybe, here's the question I want to ask you. And you can answer it any way you want. Why serve here at Emerge? What benefit does it do to you, to your family? And some of you have been doing it year after year after year. Why do you keep doing it? What does it do for your spiritual life, your devotion life? Does it bring you closer to God? Answer it any way you want. So we're going to start with Rhonda. Rhonda, you tell us. And Rhonda and Tom, I could ask both of them the question, because Tom's pretty much done pretty much everything in this building. So if it's here, Tom probably put it there, but I'm not handing you my phone. This is just a list of people. All right, why do you serve? I'm going to put you on the mic so that we can hear it.
Okay. So I serve on the hospitality side. No, I'm not standing up. So I serve on the hospitality side. And I love everything about this piece of service here at church. I'm all about the people. I love to host a get-together. If something's happening with our people here at church, I'm usually involved in some way. I love every single thing about it. Someone once said that the church is just a building without its people. And I think the people make all the difference in the world. We have an amazing hospitality team, which I'll totally put a commercial in here. We're looking for a couple new smiling faces to serve on our team. And just because you're not a woman doesn't mean you can't serve. There's room for the guys. There's room for families. Like when Mary serves, John will help. When Michelle serves, Beatrix will help. So you don't have to just be this one and only person to come make a pot of coffee. And all it takes is just a really nice smiling face. But our people are pretty fantastic.
And it's fun back there because you guys are always clowning, and it seems like you're always having a good time.
And the kitchen anywhere is the home. And the kitchen is just this cool place.
Everybody gathers around the kitchen, don't they?
I actually use mine.
Yeah. Rhonda's kitchen is beautiful to go over and heat up food. That's very nice for that. We have our board meetings over there. It's really fantastic. All right, Andrea, you're going to talk to us a little bit. All right. Why don't you stand up so we can...
Sure.
You won't make... And you can actually turn around and face the camera, and then you'll you just angle a little bit.
I choose to serve in my church because it gives me a chance to give back to God all He has done for me. Serving allows me to use my time and gifts to bless others, and in doing so, I feel closer to Him. It's not just about filling a role, it's about being part of something bigger than myself. Through serving, I've seen how God can even take even small efforts and use them to touch lives. It reminds me that we are called to be His hands and feet, and in every act of service, it really is an act of love. Serving has deepened my faith, built relationships with others, and shown me the joy that comes from living with purpose.
Awesome. And Sean and Andrea are they're like the OG. They've been here forever. So we appreciate you guys and what you've done forever and ever and ever. Appreciate you. Angelique.
All right, so my service starts out of obligation. The two phrases or verses that come to mind is the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. And if you don't eat, you don't work, you don't eat. I like to eat, I like to feed people. So I serve in the Cafe on Vine, actually feeding people, and I love that part. They're so nice, like God does. You come out of obligation maybe, but then he does something else with it, right? So I go and I get to touch them in a way that I might not otherwise. And then I also serve in the children's ministry, same reason. I love the babies. Outside of Sunday school, I don't like nobody else's kids. But here, when I'm here, I do. And that's a miracle, right? Okay. And they're like, we're going to do all ages here. And I'm like, how's that going to work? And then the first time they brought a baby with the big kids, I was like, yeah, I'll take them, And then what was neat was like the big kids helped the little kids and put the baby to sleep. I was surprised, and it was great.
I barely tolerated my own kids, so I'm with you on that, girl. All right, Serena is one of our board members, one of our senior leaders.
I will say I'm a first grade teacher outside of here, so I will never work in the kids area. So I've been here for about 15-ish years. We learned really quickly that there is no they, it's only we, so we started cleaning toilets way back when we had like cleaning teams. We would clean the church. So now I will say like serving is just so accessible here. So either you can go to Cafe on the Vine, work with the kids. World Relief is really great right now. World Relief was great because whatever your strength is, you can work with the families for that. So over the summer I was helping teach them English skills to the kids. And now serving on the board that I have done for a couple years now, I think right after COVID. I like problem solving, building relationships. I don't know, those are really important for a church, especially of our size and our theology, our beliefs, so.
One of the things I love, I just put a plug in for our board. It's the best board we've ever had. Not so much that our past boards were not great boards too. We're just much more intentional and doing much more things with our board in terms of making it more of a team effort, and I've been really grateful for that. David, up in the sound booth, you're gonna have to turn. Yeah, meet me halfway. That's right.
So being in the military, I've moved, had 15 addresses in 20 years, so lots of churches and chapels that we've gone to, and I never served in one of them. I was always the consumer sitting there in the seat. I didn't know if I was going to be here the following week because of work stuff and travel, whatever, and yet I'd always had that desire to do something. Like, I don't want to be up here singing, so I want to be the person in the back, just kind of running stuff, let me fade into the background, and I'm happy with that. And so one week I remember Mayor said, please, God, help us, we need someone, I'm tired. And I said, yeah, I'd love to, run the sound booth and, play with all the knobs and dials and make Jim sound good. And yeah, it's been fantastic. So if you like working in the background, come see us back at the sound booth.
Awesome. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Now, can we start working on filters on that so you can make me look good too? It's not that many filters, bro. You're going to have a hard time with that. All right, Candace, who's been with us since he was a youngin'. Yep. There you go. She's now on the carpet cleaning crew.
Hello. I serve with the children's. I serve with the children's ministry, and I do a bit of praise and worship every once in a while. I'm one of the newcomers to the child care downstairs. I work at the daycare during the week, so it just made sense for me to kind of move into that role. I'm not as awesome at hospitality. I'm not that stuff over there. So definitely if you're looking to serve, fall into something that you speaks to you, that comes easy to you. And if you're looking to do something out of your realm of what you normally do, it's a good way to figure that out too. But one of the great things about our child care downstairs is when I first started, I didn't realize how much we were pouring into our kids downstairs. Teaching them how to pray, teaching them what it means, and seeing the little kids be like, oh, well, I want to pray for this. And it's like, how did you even, my kids, I want to pray for the roof because I know it's leaking. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you heard me pray for that. But yeah, just pouring into our little kids downstairs and all that they learn is just awesome. So join our team.
And that's we take a little bit of a different approach with our kids, and I've talked a little bit about it, but just to remind you, we really, my thought was always, let's start with the Holy Spirit. Let's start with what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be saved, to learn about Christ's death, his resurrection, what it means to have the divine life of Jesus. Let's teach our kids to pray. We're going to get to the stories. They got their whole life to hear the stories, but let's start with the Spirit, because the same Spirit, I tell parents when they're struggling with their kids, I say, remember, the same Spirit that is in you is in them. And we can trust that. We can trust that they're going to persevere and overcome. All right, Steve, you've been with us for a long, long time. Tell us why you do this year after year after year.
All right. You guys see me up there when I'm here most Sundays playing. This is the part that I'm horrible at. But as a kid, I didn't really grow up in a particularly religious household, but the one consistent thing was always music. My dad's a musician, so it was always around. But as I started on my own, kind of going to church with some of my other family, and that was what really got me. Was like feeling the Lord's presence and the music that was going on and everything. And it just, then when I hear it on my own outside, like different Christian music, it's okay, yeah, it would always get me. So as I started to grow as a musician myself, I thought, what better way to get everyone else to maybe feel how I feel than to use that gift to share with everyone else, and hopefully they can feel the touch of God as well. So that's why I do it.
I remember the first time we met you guys. It was downtown, if I recall correctly, right? Or was it here? And then we all went to somewhere. I was playing something, and you were with your good buddies. They moved to Florida. Yes, Kyle and Rich, Kyle and Karina. That's right. And they were coming. Then Steve, they said, "Come, you got to see this church." And they go, and you guys had been a few or something. They go, "Well, I'll give it one shot. This is my last one. If this one doesn't work out, none of them are going to work out." So 14, 15, I don't know, a long time later, you're still here. So they're still testing us out, seeing if we're going to make it or not. So, all right, I'm going to do something here because we have a lawn mowing team. And they are the worst at answering texts. The worst. I'll send it out and I'll go, did somebody die? Is your phone still on? So I'm going to put them on the spot because I asked them if they would come and say something about being on the lawn mowing team. So Tim, I'm going to make you talk. You have to talk now. So. Tim's been with us a long time too. So.
I like serving on the mowing team because usually you're in the background and you don't get put on the spot. You don't have to talk into a mic, you just mow, and it's great. And it's honestly, I think it, for me, is kind of meditative, and I just love doing something, contributing to something that is regular, and it's just a small part, but we're all doing something, so it's pretty awesome. So, yeah.
I love mowing too. I started mowing the lawns. It was like everything is, and Jeff is one of our lawnmowers, and Paul is one of our lawnmowers. He's not here, but I started mowing the lawns kind of pre-COVID. So all of life is sort of divided into post and pre-COVID. And so I was mowing the lawns, and we would mow the whole thing, 6 hours. Now, actually, who was with me? Bob Murphy was with me. When we first got this building, we mowed this whole place with hand mowers. The whole thing. There were like 4 or 5 or 6 of us with hand mowers. And we did it one time. And I said, we will never do it again. I said, I know we're broke, but we'll never do that again. I talked to Haim Solis, and Jaime's always good at getting us a good deal on something. I said, dude, you got to find me a mower. And he did, and he brought a zero turn. So it was a pretty cool mower, still not the right mower for this. But then we had a guy, we just had a guy that would do it. Guy was on staff at the time. We're a little bigger church then, so I paid this guy to do it, my nephew. And they'd complain about it all the time. They'd complain about the mower. I go, that's fine. It's a zero turn. It's a nice mower. You know, they're fine. So then one time, there was two events that happened. I'm sitting in the cafe, and it used to be our cafe. Now it's our children's area. And I'm just studying for something. It was kind of quiet, having a cup of coffee. And one of our volunteers was over out in the back on the Duck Creek culvert, and he's horsing this zero-turn mower out of the ditch there. And I'm like, oh, okay, that looks like a lawsuit. He brought her back up. I'm talking to some of the board guys. I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should do something. And then one of the guys said, Jim, get on this zero-turn, ride it down this hill, turn around, do a cut this way, and then come back up. And it was one of the biggest butt puckers of my life. And we went out the next day and bought a nice 4-wheel drive John Deere tractor that is much more appropriate for that lawn. Now we have it a little bit easier because we have 180 coming. They do everything around it because it is hard to keep up. So we still do the 3 acres, but it's peaceful, isn't it? I can't tell you how many times I would pray and I would think, and we're trying to see what our next steps are. I looked forward to it. It's just 4 or 5 hours. Well, it depends on how many beers I had in my cooler out in the shed. So sometimes they took a little longer because I'd stop and have a cold one. But mowing, it was a very peaceful experience. And just to pray and to listen to music, and it was really rewarding for me. So thank you guys. By the way, somebody tried to... They do. They lose their mind. They're like, Santa is on the tractor! Santa is on the tractor! Santa is on the, no lie. No lie. Yeah, I should one day just put the costume on. I had something else I was going. Oh, somebody tried to break into our shed, by the way, yesterday. So we're taking a screwdriver trying to break that lock off. They didn't quite get in there, but I got a guy coming in next week to fix it. So if you need to get in, the key to the tractor is in the office, because I figured even if they broke in there, there'd be a tractor. They can't get out, so they're not going to get anything else out of there. So, one last person, Aaron Lindell, who is also a board member, been around since he was a kid, leads worship with us just about every single week. Why do you serve?
Yeah, so been here a long time, and one of the reasons why I serve, an interesting thing is like a lot of times I get the question, or I get a lot of people that will say, hey, that was really encouraging, or we pray together after worship, or we do worship and it was really encouraging. But what I always tell people is the encouraging you encourages me, and so worship and serving is more than just playing music for me. It's about being a part of this community, and the encouragement that comes from worship and leading worship and praying with people also sort of gives back to me. And then I think a big part of it for me too is the example I set for my son. I think it's really important to lead through example, and so that's another reason why I do what I do.
All right, you guys, pretty much everybody here is doing something, and we could go on and on and on and on why people serve. It's why I love our church. There's so many reasons, so many layers. Some of the things I know is if you ever feel disconnected from your church or from your people of faith, and you feel like you would value from those connections, you want someone that you can be with, to pray with, to feel connected to, just start serving somewhere. Just start serving. If you want to get to know me and Maria or Ike and Nina or any number of our leaders, any of our board members, everybody's doing something, so just jump in, find a place, and it's fun, and something works for a season, and if you get done with it, we'll move on to something else, So this service, you guys, is all about you. We're really, really grateful. I can't tell you how proud I am to be a pastor, a shepherd of this church, and how much I talk about it with people in our community, how proud I am of this church and what we've gone through and what we're becoming, and I couldn't be more excited. So I'm going to pray. I want to share this verse with you. Because part of what we were talking with this conversation with these two friends of mine is that as there's always plenty to do, right? There's always something to do. And sometimes when you're on the other side of it, you're like, oh my gosh, there's the pastor asking again for somebody to get up and do X, Y, and Z, doing X, Y, and Z. And then sometimes in churches, it's only kind of the same people that do all the work. And first of all, I'm so grateful that's not the case here. We don't have, everybody is doing something. But as my promise to you, and the same with all of our board, our senior leaders, is we're not going to ask you to do it unless we've really thought about it, unless we know it's like an important thing for us to do, because you get burned out. I've been in the Quad Cities going on my 22nd year, and sometimes just in ministry alone, you just go, it burns you out. So I'm really grateful, first of all, that so many people have jumped in. So many younger people are taking ownership of their church. Some of us old folks need a little bit of a break. We need to slow down a bit. So it's great to have people coming in and helping. But my encouragement to you is what Paul wrote to the Galatians. He said, let us not become weary in well-doing, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up. And that feels like kind of where we are. We haven't grown weary. We haven't gotten tired of doing the right things at the right time for the right reasons. And we're starting to see the benefits, aren't we? We're starting to see cohesion and clarity of vision and new purpose. And I love it, love it, love it, love it. So thank you so much. I think everybody can applaud everybody that's doing everything. Let's celebrate ourselves. Worship team, let's come up. We're going to sing a couple of songs for you, and we're going to send you back to your barbecues.